tons of frozen bacon cheeseburger patties sold in Wisconsin are being recalled.
Think you're biting into beef? Think again. The freezer hisses. Cold air slaps your hand. Patties clack like coins as the wrapper squeals. Labels shout 100% beef, chef-crafted, grass-fed glory. But here's the twist. Some of those beefy beauties are stuffed with fillers, sneaky sodium, and fats that could make your doctor faint. If your heart, kidneys, or cholesterol matter, this isn't just lunch, it's a lab experiment. Stay tuned. 7 burgers that actually earn the grill, and 2 that should be banned from it. Coming in at number 7, the store brand that doesn't sneak. Good and Gather all-natural beef patties from Target. Budget that doesn't backfire. You expect a cheap patty to hide starch, soy, or flavor, but this box simply says 85% lean beef. One ingredient, about 240 calories, roughly 21 grams of protein, and close to 90 milligrams of sodium per quarter-pound patty. Translation: you season it, not a factory salt hose. Here's the promise versus what you actually get. Price whispers mystery meat. Reality hands you clean beef with a uniform grind and no fillers. No textured vegetable protein to puff it up. No caramel coloring to mask old notes. Reviewers keep posting the cross-section shot. Tight, red speckle before cooking, even brown after. Juice is clear instead of milky. Salt where you control it. If you're watching blood pressure or taking diuretics or ACE inhibitors, a low baseline matters. Starting at around 90 milligrams means your bun, cheese, and sides have room. Less risk of a thirsty night or swollen fingers. Allergy watchers win too because there's no soy binder to sneak in. Simple label, fewer landmines. Let's talk pan reality. Drop a frozen patty on a hot cast iron and it lands with a sharp hiss, not a limp sizzle. The surface browns evenly. Little beads of fat pop, and you smell clean beef, not stale meat perfume. Flip once. The crust snaps at the edge, juices run clear, and the center stays beefy instead of mushy. No gummy chew, no chalky center, just a straight burger that takes seasoning like a champ. But here's the real shocker. Families can portion without guesswork. The 12-count bulk pack stacks neatly, peels apart fast, and turns Tuesday night into autopilot. Season right out of the freezer if you want, or thaw and shape the edges for a pub look. Either way, you're not buying saltwater. Staff forums described it as the safe blank canvas. A Target meat associate wrote that returns were rare and usually from overcooking, not off flavors. One shopper said, my cuff stayed calm after 2 patties. That's the point. Beef first, salt last, control wins. Pat both sides dry. Light coat of olive oil. Sprinkle pepper, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. Cook to your temp, then salt at the table so nobody gets more than they want. Build the plate with tomato, crunchy lettuce, and pickles. Want extra richness? Add a thin swipe of mustard yogurt. Done. Simple isn't boring. It's control. Name a store brand that surprised you, in a good way. And if you're thinking, I need more protein per patty without the sodium sting, stay close. Up next, a bigger burger that brings muscle without a salty receipt. Climbing to 6, the pasture pick with grown-up macros. Grass-run farms, natural ground beef patties, the 1/3 pounder that looks huge but keeps its label calm. Big patty, small sodium. You expect more meat to mean more salt. Not here. It is 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef with roughly 100 milligrams of sodium and about 26 grams of protein per patty. That ratio matters. More protein per bite, less brine in the background. Let's talk promise versus truth. The package talks about pasture-raised cattle, no animal byproducts, and U.S. sourcing. The receipts line up. There is no hidden broth, no phosphate bath, no natural flavor fog. Staff forums described these as juicy without a brine bath. That matches what you taste. The first whiff off the grill is clean beef, not metallic or barnyard. Grill marks darken fast. Fat beads up, shimmers, and rolls instead of oozing chalky. The bite is firm, not gummy, so it chews like a real burger, not a sponge disc. Full without the salt swell. That big protein number is not just for gym selfies. It keeps you satisfied, which helps you skip the late-night pantry raid. And because the sodium is low, folks on diuretics or ACE inhibitors do not start the meal behind. Less water retention, less midnight thirst, less ring finger drama. Quick fix that works every time. Brush each side with olive oil, hit it with cracked black pepper, and leave the heavy salt until you plate. Serve the patty over a big salad with tomatoes, cucumber, pickles, and a dollop of mustard yogurt. You just cut the bun, sodium, and kept all the burger joy. Real-world notes echo the point. Held its shape without squeezing out milky juice. Good beef smell, not funky. Photos show a tight grind before cooking and a moist center after, not a greasy puddle. This is adult burger math. Big size, controlled salt, honest beef. Lean, then mean. Thin or thick patty. What's your move? Comment below. Number 5 trims the size but keeps control in your hands. Holding 5, the organic ticket with standards that stick. Eel River. Organic beef burger. Standards you can taste. Organic can sometimes be a fog machine for filler or odd seasonings. Wuss. Not this one. It is 100% grass-fed and grass-finished organic beef, animal welfare certified, with around 75 milligrams of sodium and about 19 grams of protein per quarter-pound patty. Clean sizzle, clean panel. Here's how the promise meets the pan. Pasture-raised credentials are not just a sticker. The flavor comes through as bright, beefy, and tidy. You drop the patty on a hot skillet. No chemical steam puffs up. No gray smell. The browning is even. The edges crisp, and the pink fade to the center stays juicy without turning mushy. When you press gently with your spatula, clear beads of fat appear, not milky runoff. That signals minimal processing and no weird binders. For blood pressure goals, low sodium is a gift. You are free to salt lightly at the table. If you are chasing energy, iron, and B vitamins arrive by default with real beef rather than fortified fillers. It is also a straight quarter pound, which makes portions predictable for meal planning. Receipts in real life match the brand's line. Tastes like backyard beef, not cafeteria. No aftertaste, even the kids ate it with lettuce wraps. The consistent sizing means you can season from scratch and still get even results across the whole box. It also means fewer surprises for people tracking macros. Quick fix, you can repeat all summer. Go bunless and stack the patty with roasted peppers and onions. Add a small spoon of pesto, then salt lightly right before the first bite. That keeps the seasoning on the surface where your tongue notices, so you use less. Want a simpler route? Lemon, olive oil, and pepper. That's it. Clean label, calm sodium, honest flavor. Ever paid extra for organic and got let down? Tell us. 4 brings portion control that does not water down the beef. At 4, the thin patty built for balance. Pound of ground burger thins. Control the portion, keep the flavor. Smaller patties have a reputation for tasting like hockey pucks. This one breaks that rule. The only ingredient is beef. About 190 calories, 13 grams of protein, and close to 50 milligrams of sodium. That is it. Why this matters. Quick cook time lowers the odds you pushing past done and into dry. These things hit the skillet with a tight hiss, edges crisp in minutes, and the center stays tender because the heat moves through fast. If you cook from frozen the right way, you avoid that freezer-burned crust that tastes like old ice. They also stack perfectly. 2 patties give you a double without the salt creep of a single large pre-salted patty. Meal preppers call them weekday lifesavers for a reason. They portion easily into lunch boxes. They go straight onto a whole-grain English muffin, and they crumble nicely for salads without drenching the greens in fat. The label stays quiet, which is the point. No sugar in a steak sauce glaze, no mystery binder, just beef. Health angle, plain and simple. Calorie control is almost automatic with the 2.6-ounce size. Sodium stays so low that heart meds play nice. If you wake up puffy after a diner burger, this is your off-ramp. You can season on top and stop when it tastes right. That means less total salt than salting inside the grind at a plant. Double it, still sane on salt. Want a fast build? Toast a whole-grain English muffin, spread mustard, add pickles, stack 1 patty, then a sunny-side egg. Bonus protein, bright acidity, and still a mild sodium load. Or run 2 thin slices on a lettuce wrap with tomato and a light smear of Greek yogurt mixed with pepper. Real-world love is loud. Thin, but not wimpy, says one home griller. Good crust without grease, says another. The patties brown evenly and release cleanly, which keeps your pan from turning into a slick mess. Ready for flavor pre-built? 1 thin or 2, what's your stack? 3 brings herbs and citrus without a science lab. Quick pause. If this saves you from a salty dinner, tap subscribe so you do not miss the rest. We still have 2 patties that pretend to be burgers while battering your heart. Your grill deserves better, and the worst tricks are still ahead. Cracking the top 3, the seasoned patty that doesn't sabotage. Tribali foods, Mediterranean style, beef patties. Flavor without the salt hangover. You expect pre-seasoned to mean sodium spike and mystery slurry. Here, the label stays clean. No preservatives, no fillers. The seasoning is real kitchen stuff, not lab fog. Garlic, onion, lemon peel, and mint. Each patty lands around 220 calories with 17 grams of protein and about 470 milligrams of sodium. That sodium is not tiny, but it is still manageable if you run smart sides and skip the briny add-ons. Let us sort promise versus truth. The box sells a bright Mediterranean vibe. The receipts match. Gluten-free ingredient list you can read out loud. No weird binders. No hidden sugar glaze. On the skillet, herbs bloom fast. You hear a soft hiss, then catch citrus and mint in the steam. A fresh note instead of that heavy diner smell. The patty stays juicy without turning watery. When you tilt the pan, the runoff is clear, not cloudy. That is the sign you are not paying for water weight. Seasoned, not soaked. The texture holds together when you flip it. There is no sponge bounce, no gummy tension. Bite in and you get a gentle garlic start, a lemon pop in the middle, and a cool mint echo at the end. It tastes like someone actually cooked for you, not like a factory blasted it with salt to fake flavor. Health tie-ins are simple. If you are watching your blood pressure, you can make this work. Build the plate around greens and raw crunch. Skip salty cheese and jarred olives. You avoid the sodium stack, which keeps your thirst calm later. People who track numbers say this one feels like a restaurant done in 5 minutes. Real-world notes call it restaurant vibe in 5 minutes, and they are not wrong. Serve it in a lettuce wrap with tomato, diced cucumber, and a spoonful of yogurt mixed with chopped mint. No extra salt needed. The herbs carry the thing. Want heat without sodium? Add red pepper flakes or a squeeze of lemon. That makes the flavors jump while leaving your pressure alone. Flavor without the salt hangover, confirmed. Which herb belongs on a burger, mint, basil, or none? Tell me below. Time for a heavyweight protein win. Runner-up is thick, grass-fed, and all business. In the runner-up spot, the 6-ounce slab that earns its space. Omaha steaks, grass-fed ground beef burgers. Steakhouse power, freezer ease. Mail order patties can hide salty marinade or broth shots. Not here. These run 100% grass-fed with about 110 milligrams of sodium and roughly 32 grams of protein per patty, plus solid iron. Individually wrapped, consistent grind, and safe to go from freezer to grill without falling apart. Let us compare the story to the skillet. The marketing says premium beef, straightforward cut, no extras. On a hot cast iron, the sear roars. The crust forms fast, then the center stays moist instead of steaming out. When you press lightly, the juices bead up clear, not milky. That clarity points to a clean grind without added water or phosphates. Protein that actually fills you. 32 grams in one patty means real satiety. You finish the plate and you are done, not circling the pantry 1 hour later. The sodium is so low that people on heart meds have room for a pinch of finishing salt without tipping into a bad night. You avoid the bloated ring finger test. You avoid the 2 a.m. water run. Practical receipts matter too. Individually wrapped patties keep freezer burn away and make portioning easy. The grind is even, which means predictable cooking from edge to center. You can grill from frozen for a weeknight save, or thaw and smash for a thinner, crisp edge. Real-world notes say, taste steakhouse level without the salt shock, and that tracks with the bite. It is beefy, not metallic. It chews like steak, not like a pressed sponge. Here is a simple, smart build. Brush both sides with olive oil, season with cracked pepper, and skip heavy salt until you plate. Grill asparagus, squeeze lemon over the spears, and add the patty on top. The acid wakes up the beef, so you need less salt. If you want a bun night, pick a small whole grain roll and keep the condiments sharp, not sugary. Mustard over ketchup, onion and tomato over pickle piles. Let us talk health for a second. High protein supports fullness and muscle goals, which helps with weight management. Low sodium keeps pressure in check and treats your kidneys kindly. If your doc told you to watch salt, this patty gives you runway. If iron runs low, grass-fed beef helps, and a squeeze of lemon on your veg improves absorption. That is a small, smart trick. No lectures required. Midway reset. You will not believe what is lurking inside some gourmet frozen patties. Extra flavors, extra sodium, and sometimes extra parts that are not what you wanted. That is why these grass-fed bricks feel like relief. They are beef and nothing else, which means you control the rest. Grill or cast iron? Which team are you? I love both, but cast iron wins on a rainy night and gives that dramatic crust in 6 minutes flat. Number 1 keeps it even simpler. And yes, it is grass-fed, and yes, you can find it almost anywhere. Top spot goes to the grass-fed classic you can find almost anywhere. Taking the number 1 spot, the single-ingredient workhorse, grass-fed BUBBA burger. Beef first, noise later. You expect frozen to mean bland, thin, and thirsty. Reality check, 100% USDA grass-fed beef, about 240 calories, 21 grams of protein, and around 65 milligrams of sodium per quarter pound. That is a rare baseline in a freezer full of salty shortcuts. Here is the promise versus the plate. The box says simple. The patty proves it. 0 fillers. No binders, no soy. You cook it straight from frozen, and it behaves. The surface sears fast. The crust goes bronze. The center stays tender. The aroma is clean beef, not metallic steam. When you tilt the pan, the juices run clear instead of milky clouds. That is what an honest grind looks like. Salt stays in your hand. Because the patty starts so low in sodium, people with blood pressure goals can season on the plate and stay in range. That also helps anyone on diuretics who hates the swollen ring finger test. The protein is solid for muscle and appetite control, which means fewer late snacks and a calmer night. Real-world notes back it up. Parents report that kids ate it without ketchup. Reviewers talk about feeling normal after dinner rather than puffy or parched. No strange sweetness, no chemical aftertaste, just beef that tastes like beef. Want a quick, smart build? Keep it simple. Grind pepper, shake a little garlic powder, sear in a lightly oiled cast iron for 2 to 3 minutes aside, then rest. Swipe the bun with mustard, pile on lettuce, onion, and tomato. Add pickles only if you want the sour hit and can spare the salt. Finish with a light sprinkle of salt at the table, not in the pan. Beef first, noise later. Do you season before or after the sear? Visual check. Drop the frozen disc onto the hot skillet. It hisses, it tightens, and a ring of fat forms like small bubbles that pop and fade. Flip, and you get that even browning with no gummy pull. Cut it, and you see a moist center, not a gray sponge. That is the moment you know you are not eating a chemistry project. Now, a quick pit stop. We need to talk about what not to buy next. You just saw how a low-sodium, single-ingredient patty keeps the meal calm. Not every bag plays fair. Some brands add water, soy fragments, organ meat, or cheese, then drown the grind in seasoning so you will not notice. The panel looks busy, your pulse looks busier, sodium climbs, saturated fat stacks. One label even slides in trans fat. That is a quiet hit to your heart and a loud night of thirst. We pulled 2 names that cross the line. One buries beef under fillers, the other stuffs bacon and cheddar into the patty. You will see why they do not belong in your cart. You will not believe what is hiding in the grind. Picture the cook. You drop one of these bargain pucks into a hot pan, and the steam smells like cafeteria salt. The surface weeps briny foam. The patty tightens, then shrinks, leaving a slick ring that spits and crackles. Press with a spatula, and a pale gush seeps out, not real juice, more like seasoned water. Take a bite, and the texture turns gummy, like a sponge that met gravy. 10 minutes later, you reach for water. An hour later, your ring feels tight. That is not dinner. That is a science project you paid for. Bonus danger pick 1, the bargain that bargains with your health. Extra value beef patties. Cheap now, costly later. The label says beef patties. The fine print tells a different story. Water, beef heart, textured vegetable protein with soy, and preservatives crowd the list. Per patty, you are looking at roughly 300 to 320 calories, about 28 grams of fat, nearly 10 grams saturated, and around 380 to 430 milligrams of sodium. That is a lot of salt and fat for a cut that is supposed to be simple. Here is the betrayal. You pay for beef and get filler math. Water and soy puff the patty so it looks generous in the frozen stack, but your skillet exposes the trick. Sponge, not steak. Review boards are full of photos of pale patties shrinking in the pan, beads of gray liquid pooling, buns turning soggy. More than one shopper reported swelling fingers after dinner. Now the sensory part. Drop one onto a hot pan and listen. It does not sizzle like real beef. It steams. A pale foam forms at the edges and runs toward the drain side of the pan. The drippings look gray, not brown. When you press with a spatula, a thin gray liquid seeps out and smears. The surface refuses to brown evenly. When you finally bite, the texture springs back like a kitchen sponge. The flavor is thin and salty, as if the patty had soaked in soup mix. Health tie-ins matter. That sodium hits fast, which is rough for anyone watching blood pressure or taking diuretics. Saturated fat climbs without giving you steakhouse taste or fullness. Add the soy TVP, and you stack potential allergy problems or medication conflicts that you never planned on. Preservatives are not seasoning. They are there to stretch shelf life, not improve dinner. Receipts show why the numbers feel so heavy. Fillers lower the real beef content, so you need more condiments to feel satisfied. Ketchup, pickles, and processed cheese push the sodium even higher. No wonder many buyers report needing heavy sauce to cover the off taste. Others say the patty tasted off after thawing in the fridge for a day. That is your red flag. Skip the bargain blend. Buy single-ingredient patties or form your own from 85 to 90% lean ground beef. Shape them on parchment, freeze flat, and cook from frozen. Season later. Salt at the table so you control the final number. Cheap now, costly later. This bag wastes your money and your night's sleep. And the next one? It sneaks in trans fat. Time for the bacon cheddar patty that goes too far. Comment time. What is the worst value patty you have tried? Name and shame. Bonus danger. Pick 2, the celebrity patty with a health bill. Wahlburgers, bacon, cheddar, Angus, beef burgers. Flavor that fights your arteries. The box sells premium Angus with built-in taste. The numbers sell something else. About 450 calories, 38 grams of fat, 15 grams of saturated fat. And yes, trans fat is present in a single 1/3 pound patty. That is a heart attack in one burger. Here is the switch. Cheese and bacon are folded into the grind, so every bite drags sodium and fat straight into the center. No escape route, you cannot scrape this off. Sensory tour. Drop it on a hot skillet and watch the grease pool in seconds. Cheese pockets bubble, then ooze and scorch into dark spots that smell bitter. The center stays slick while the edges char too fast. Slide a napkin under it, and the paper turns translucent in a heartbeat. Take a bite, and the chew feels heavy, with a salty, smoky push that lingers. Cheese in the grind, risk in the numbers. That much saturated fat can push LDL up. Trans fat is the red flag that earns a hard pass, especially if your cholesterol is a problem or heart disease runs in your family. Big sodium adds water weight and a thirsty night. Not a great trade for a Tuesday dinner. For health math, keep it simple. Saturated fat loads your bloodstream and narrows the pipes. Trans fat hits harder and pushes LDL up faster. On statins, this works against the plan. Watching blood pressure, the salty load can bump your numbers by bedtime and wake you for water runs. That is not dinner. That is a setback. For kidney goals, salt backfires. Receipts sack up. The label promotes Angus and restaurant flavor. The nutrition panel tells the real story. You pay for bacon and cheddar worked into every ounce, which locks in extra fat even before you add a bun, a brioche bun, and a dab of sauce, and you are far past a normal meal. Real-world notes match. Needed 2 napkins and a nap. Felt heavy for hours. People report that the skillet splatter travels inches and coats the stove in dots. That is not an aroma. That is cleanup. Want the taste without the bill? Start with a clean beef patty. Add a thin bacon crumble on top and a sharp cheddar slice so you control both. Build the flavor on the surface, not inside the grind. Season with pepper, let the salt live at the table. You won't believe what's lurking inside. Ever met a burger that tasted great but wrecked your night? Tell us. Let's land this with a freezer-smart exit. Stick around for a fast wrap that locks in the wins and helps you shop without regrets. Some bags help your grill, others help your doctor. What's the worst frozen burger you've cooked? Salty puck, greasy mess, or filler fest? Drop it below. Want more grocery truth? Click on the left and subscribe so your next freezer haul actually protects your health.